Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Broken Sword 2, and when last we left off, George is in the Glease Gallery, the one lead that Andre gave him, and we need to have a look at those cases back there, behind the screens. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the person that owns this place is going to let us back there, so we're going to have to try something sneaky at some point. Let's talk to you and you, but after we've looked at these.
Rectangles in a desolate landscape, highly cubist.
And this one.
Spheres in a barren waste. Oh, very profound. I could see a pattern emerging in this artist's work.
I can too. Let's talk to you, shall we? Hello, how are you?
Are you Mr. Glease, the owner?
Good God, no.
Then I guess that must be him over there, right?
Your powers of deductive reasoning astound me.
Let's ask about the various things that we can, like Oubier.
Have you heard of Professor Oubier?
Yes, of course.
I was at his house earlier.
If you're going to drop names, you could at least name one worth dropping.
I thought Oubier was a well-respected man.
Why, his last book was nothing but pseudo-intellectual claptrap. The demented ramblings of a drug-dependent has-been.
Doesn't have a high opinion of Oubier, then. Let's ask about the item that we got from there, the pot.
Would you give me your opinion on this pot, sir?
Yes, very rapouche.
Rapouche?
Hideous.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
He just destroyed our pot, the item in our inventory that we've held on from near the beginning of the game. You have to answer for a lot of things, sir. You just destroyed a piece of our inventory. A crime in any point-and-click adventure game? That is just terrible.
You smashed my pot.
Certainly, it was not only worthless, it was ugly and offensive.
To you, maybe.
Believe me, I was doing you a favor.
Oh, were you?
What's that you're drinking?
I'm not sure, but I have a suspicion it might be urine. Glease can't expect a favorable criticism of his gallery when he serves this muck.
Ah, so you're an art critic then, I presume. That would explain the book.
What's the difference between my pot and all those other pots?
Yours is broken.
Why, you smug, pompous sloth.
Sticks and stones, dear boy, sticks and stones.
Well, there's nothing more we can talk about, so let's end the conversation.
I wasn't going to waste any more breath talking to that pompous blimp. Maybe I could turn the situation to my advantage, and at the same time, get my revenge.
That is some not-so-subtle hints that we may be able to do something. There's some wine that we can interact with there, the glass of wine that we asked about. But there is a small opportunity where we can do so.
The glass was half full of wine.
We could fill that up at some point. Maybe with this item that we have here that we took from the person at the cafe.
It was the flask of absinthe I'd borrowed from the gendarme.
You didn't borrow it so much as you stole it, George. But let's just talk to the person that owns this establishment, or at the very least runs it. Hello.
I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Certainly, sir. I'd be most happy to oblige.
You're English?
These days one prefers to think of oneself as European.
Sure. Whatever you say.
And how precisely may one assist you, sir?
Well, first we're going to ask about Oubier.
Have you heard of Professor Oubier?
Of course. His name is synonymous with Mayan art. A number of these artifacts were supplied by Oubier himself.
Let's ask about his wife.
Do you believe the story that Oubier murdered his wife?
If it was true, who can blame him? She was an opportunist tramp. Well, that's what I heard.
We can keep asking about that. Let's dig deeper, shall we?
Have you seen any of Oubier's wife's films?
Only one. Believe me, I was appalled, shocked, disgusted, and repulsed.
Well, you sure got your money's worth. Last time I went to the movies, I wasn't even titillated.
Let's ask about the collection. I'm sure he'll be happy to talk at length about it, mainly because he wants to make a sale.
I suppose you have an import license for these relics?
Of course. But that's not my problem, sir. The professor arranges all the shipping. We simply collect the items from the docks.
Handy. The conversation about Oubier's popped up again.
Could you tell me which docks Professor Oubier uses to import the artifacts?
Good God, no. I can't possibly reveal my commercial secrets.
And we'll ask about the collection again.
I have some questions I'd like to ask about those pots.
The Mexican collection? Certainly, sir.
Where did you get them from?
Mexico, of course. I think sir will find the price extremely reasonable.
Hey, I'm not interested in buying them.
Oh, I see. Well, in that case, you'll excuse me.
You literally ended the conversation there. You had to say that you were interested in buying them. He won't entertain your questions if he doesn't think there'll be a sale. But I want the remnants of my pot back.
A valuable relic of an ancient civilization lay smashed on the floor.
Maybe we can stick it together with glue?
The pot had smashed into too many pieces to retrieve.
A shame. Let's talk to you again. We're going to ask about the wine.
There is a gentleman over there who seems to be enjoying your wine.
I can't think why. It was very cheap.
Well, at least he's honest.
I found this news story referring to a total eclipse of the sun.
Really, sir? Well, fascinating.
I don't know what reaction you expected there, George. I was expecting that one.
Do you get many Central American Indians in here?
No, sir. This is Paris. Central America is several thousand kilometers southwest of here. Straight across the Atlantic Ocean and turn left. You can't miss it.
Well, as it happens, I saw some Central American Indians this very morning.
Tourists, sir. Paris is full of them at this time of year.
Let's ask about the stone, shall we?
What I really wanted to ask you about was a black stone.
A black stone?
Yeah, it's a Mayan artifact, about as big as my hand.
No, sir. One doesn't get much call for black stones. If it's Mayan artifacts you're interested in, I have some rather exquisite pots.
So did I, until that slob smashed it.
And there's nothing more we can talk about. But maybe there's something we can do here. If we're very sneaky, and we time it correctly, we might be able to fill that with absinthe. I do have one question, though. When he goes to read that book, where does the wine go? Also, it's an unlimited decanter of wine. It just fills up endlessly. And he really can't be paying that much attention if we can actually fill that with absinthe while it's literally there. Let's save before we do so, because this could go horribly, horribly wrong. We'll just save here, and then we will try to be very sneaky. Let us use this here on that.
I splashed a little absinthe into the glass and hoped he wouldn't notice the change of color.
Did you put something in my drink?
Yeah, I did. What do you think?
Well, it's certainly an improvement over Glease's wine. In fact, I could grow to like it.
Fair enough. Why don't we put some more in then? Since after all, you like it so much. Have more. We'll wait.
Allow me.
Of course he's more worried about the pots rather than the person that's collapsed.
Glease wasn't happy, I could tell.
No shock there.
He was out for the count.
Let's try talking to him.
I wasn't going to waste my breath on that drunkard.
Let's have a look at this before we try to talk to him. This is the perfect time to sneak over there, but I'm sure we can wait.
Fragments of priceless pots lay shattered on the floor.
Vengeance for this pot that was destroyed. We did say that we get our revenge.
Were those pots very valuable?
The pots are insured, but not the shelving. You've no idea how much that cost me.
Oh, it's the shelving you're worried about. Well, don't mind me. We're just going to sneak over here and have a look at these. Let's have a little bit of a sneaky look.
There was nothing in the case but styrofoam packing, but pasted on the side was the remains of a label.
Let's have a look at the label then.
The packing case contained nothing but styrofoam chips.
Where? Ah, there's the label.
It was a label bearing a company name and logo.
Well, let's grab it.
Underneath the logo of a flying bird were the words Condor Transglobal Mars. The rest of the label was missing. It was beginning to make sense. Oubier had organized Nico's abduction. Oubier withdrew money from Marseille. Oubier was connected with Transglobal, who shipped their goods from a warehouse in Marseille. That's how the torn Transglobal label had once read. Marseille, not Mars. It wasn't much of a lead, but it was all I had. I set off immediately to catch the evening train. It was almost dawn when I arrived in Marseille. I traced Condor Transglobal to a desolate dockside.
Two things I want to remark about. One, wouldn't it have been interesting if the game had sent us to Mars? Just thinking about it, George on Mars looking to save Nico and save the world. But no going to Mars for you. Secondly, we got here very quickly, and we also went here by train. The last time we went on a train, it didn't end so well. Let's have a look at this area.
A chain-link fence barred the entrance to the docks.
Well, that's awkward. We could try and climb it.
There was a glow of light at the window of the hut.
We're probably going to have a look at that.
It was the Watchman's hut.
Let's have a look at the insides of that hut. Ah, there's a dog. Hello, dog.
It was a mean-looking guard dog.
Doesn't look that mean here, but maybe the dog will react badly if we go over this fence. Probably will. Let's have a look at this. Ah, something was dropped down there.
It was the trapdoor which the slab used as a waste chute, straight into the sea.
I bet we need that bottle, don't we? We could grab that.
The spike held a stack of papers which appeared to be shipping documents. None of them referred to Condor Transglobal.
Can we try grab them anyway?
Ouch! Gotcha! That'll learn you to leave things alone.
I guess we aren't grabbing any of them then. Let's try a look over there again. And have a conversation. And look at everything else. Like this.
A shabby old overcoat hung from a peg near the door.
There's that we can't look at. There's this that we can look at.
It was a packet with a picture of a boxer dog on the front.
Probably dog food.
It was an old iron stove, which heated the hut and the watchman's dinner.
There's this, which I imagine has coal in it.
It was a large bucket filled with coal.
There are some keys, but I doubt we're going to be getting any of them. We should probably actually talk to the Watchman.
The Watchman was big and bulgy, like a sack of potatoes. His flushed and bloated face wore a sleepy, amiable expression.
Hello.
Hi there.
What'd you want? Do you know what time it is?
No, I don't wear a watch. As my dad used to say, I'm not into time, man.
Well, you're too early.
Let's talk about a lot of things. Like the dog. Like it being early.
What time is it anyhow?
The big hand's on the floor. Why aren't you in bed?
I can explain everything.
Never mind, I ain't that interested.
At least he's honest.
What time do you open the gates?
7.
Do you mind if I hang out here till the docks open?
Please yourself, but you'll have a long wait. It's Sunday, and tomorrow is the start of the national holiday. Everything is closed for a month.
Well, wouldn't you just know it?
Looks like we're not going to be getting in there the legitimate way.
Does that dog belong to you?
Nah, He comes with the job. I just feed him every now and then.
More then than now, I'd say.
Let's talk about the dog again.
What's the dog's name?
20.
It's unusual for a dog.
It's his registration number. Security dog number 20.
That's very cold.
That animal doesn't seem too hot for a guard dog.
No? You haven't seen him in action.
Doesn't look like he has the energy to wag his tail.
Just like my wife. She's like a slug in a coma until she's annoyed. Then she's like a tiger with a rat up its ass.
Sweet.
Let's talk about this.
Ever heard of Condor Transglobal?
Sure. They have a warehouse here.
Well, could I take a look?
Not until after the holidays. Come back in a month.
Little too long a gap of time. I think the world might be doomed by the time that month has gone by.
I have to make a delivery to Condor Transglobal.
Where's your rig?
About half a mile down the road.
And you walked here? Jeez, are you some kind of nut?
Nah, it was easy. I just put one foot in front of the other.
That won't help you. Although it was funny to be a little bit smart to the Watchman. We're not going to get in that way.
Are you going to let me make my delivery?
Not without the paperwork. You get the papers, you make your delivery, and I get a fat backhander.
I was getting nowhere with the story about being a trucker.
No, you are not.
Do you know what kind of business Condor's involved in?
I'm paid to guard the gate. Their business is none of mine.
Let's ask about Nico.
I'm looking for a young woman.
At the docks? What kind of woman do you have in mind?
You don't understand. It's my girlfriend I'm trying to find.
Well, I ain't seen her, and you should tell her. The docks ain't no place for a young lady. They're dirty and they're dangerous.
We'll keep that in mind.
I'm certain my girlfriend was brought here when she was abducted.
What? Your girl was kidnapped?
Yeah. Struck down by an Indian with a poisoned dart.
A poison dart, huh?
I could tell he didn't believe me.
I'm going to show him the dart.
This is the dart that the Indian shot at my girlfriend.
Sheesh. That's pretty weird, but I don't see why you'd expect to find her here.
He's got a point.
Take a look at this letter.
That's sick. Did you write it?
Oh, no. No, it's a letter from my girlfriend's admirer.
If I was you, I'd smack him in the mouth.
Well, that's not my style, but thanks for the advice.
Are we going to be able to show that item to absolutely everybody we meet in the game? Hey, would you like to have a look at this? And then they all read it and give their opinion.
Have you ever heard of Professor Ubier?
Me? None of my friends are professors or anything like that.
So, no then.
I have these very exotic panties.
Take them away, you pervert!
I don't know how you expected that conversation to go, George.
What's cooking?
Beans. You know a man can live on nothing but beans.
Not this one.
Let's ask about the beans.
Don't you ever get tired of eating beans?
Sure I do. What do you take me for?
And what's the alternative?
Peas. I can't eat them too often, though. They play hell with my digestion.
We can ask about the beans some more. This thrilling conversation knows no end. Maybe inadvertently we'll come up with all the solutions to the problems in the game by talking about beans.
Have you ever considered changing your diet?
What's wrong with beans and beer?
You need me to tell you? You're pumping out enough methane here to fill a dirigible.
That is a lot of methane.
I gotta go now, but I'll be back.
Can't wait.
I think he can. We need to find a way to get over there. We could talk to the dog.
Hey, 20.
I don't think a dog is really going to be paying that much attention. Let's just try and climb the gate, shall we? This won't work. There's also a lock there.
What's the big idea?
I don't know. The dog went berserk for no apparent reason.
He's trained to do that. The idea is to deter any would-be intruder.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just remember, he's a trained attack dog. A killer.
We'll remember that. We'll also have a look at this lock.
The gates were fastened with a heavy-duty padlock.
We could try and pick the padlock with this dart. I don't think it'll work, though. We got lucky once.
I decided I would not be able to pick a 5-barrel hardened steel heavy-duty padlock with a dart.
You're just not trying hard enough, George. You're just not trying hard enough. And when we come back, folks, we will find our way into this area so that we can have a look at this boat. And maybe, just maybe, find some more clues so that we can find Nico. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.